The ballroom lights went out 3 seconds before Roman Valenti was supposed to place his family's diamond ring on his fiancée's finger. Gasps moved through the luxury hotel. A champagne tray crashed somewhere near the stage. Guests lifted their phones, but the emergency lights had not yet activated. Nora Blake, the poor waitress assigned to serve the engagement table, saw the velvet ring box tumble from Roman's hand and roll beneath the floral arch. She rushed forward before someone stepped on it. At the same moment, Roman reached into the darkness. His fingers found a woman's hand. Believing it belonged to his bride, he slid the heirloom ring onto her finger. Then the lights returned. The entire ballroom froze. Roman stood beneath the engagement arch holding Nora's hand. The diamond ring glittered on the waitress's finger. Across from them, his fiancée Celeste Arden sat rigidly in her wheelchair, staring at Nora with pure hatred. Someone laughed. Then another guest whispered, "The Mafia Boss proposed to the waitress." Nora's face burned as cameras turned toward her. She tried to remove the ring, but it would not pass over her knuckle. Celeste pointed at her. "She planned this. She stole my ring." Roman's dark eyes moved from his furious bride to the terrified waitress beside him. His tailored black suit, visible neck tattoos, and cold expression made the crowded ballroom fall silent. "Tell me what happened," he ordered. Nora looked toward Celeste. Only 15 minutes earlier, she had seen the supposedly paralyzed woman standing inside the service corridor, walking perfectly while paying a private therapist to keep silent. Nora leaned close to Roman, her voice shaking. "Your bride is lying." His grip tightened around her hand. "About what?" Nora met Celeste's frightened eyes across the room. "She can walk." Behind them, Celeste's wheelchair moved slightly. Roman turned toward his bride. And for the first time that evening, the woman who had controlled him through guilt looked genuinely afraid. Subscribe and leave your city below, because one mistaken ring had just placed a poor waitress between a mafia boss and the woman who had built their entire engagement on a lie. For several seconds, no one moved. Roman still held Nora's hand beneath the engagement arch. The diamond ring locked around her finger, while Celeste sat across from them in her wheelchair, pale beneath the ballroom lights. Then the whispers began. "Did she say Celeste can walk? That waitress is lying. She wants attention." Nora heard every word. Celeste recovered first. "Roman, this is humiliating. Remove her from the room." Roman did not look away from Nora. "You saw her walking?" "Yes." "When?" 15 minutes ago, in the service corridor." Celeste laughed sharply. "That corridor is restricted. Why would I be there?" Nora turned toward her. "Because your therapist was waiting near the laundry elevator." A flicker crossed Celeste's face. Roman noticed. "What therapist?" he asked. "My rehabilitation specialist," Celeste replied. "He helps with circulation exercises. Nora probably saw him supporting me and invented the rest." "He wasn't supporting you," Nora said. "You walked from the wheelchair to the elevator without touching him." The ballroom became quieter. Celeste's father rose. "Roman, this woman is unstable. She interrupted a private ceremony and accused my daughter of fraud." Nora looked at him. "The lights failed, the ring fell, and Mr. Valenti mistook my hand for hers." "You expect us to believe that?" Celeste snapped. Nora pulled at the ring again. Her knuckle had begun swelling. "I'm trying to give it back." Roman released her hand, though his eyes remained fixed on Celeste. "Who controls the ballroom lighting?" The hotel manager stepped forward. "Our events team, sir. The outage was limited to this room." "Limited?" "Yes. The hallway cameras and emergency systems never lost power." That detail changed Roman's expression. The darkness had not been an accident. Celeste shifted in her chair. "Someone probably wanted to embarrass us." Roman looked at Nora's ringed hand. "Or prevent something from being seen." Celeste's voice tightened. "You believe a waitress over me?" "I believe details before people." Nora felt every guest studying her uniform, tired shoes, and cheap hair clip for proof that she belonged nowhere near the Valenti family. A server whispered, "She planned it." Nora faced Roman. "I should leave." "No." The word stopped her. If you leave now, they will decide guilt for you. They already have. Then give them something harder to dismiss. Roman was not offering comfort. He was asking for precision. Nora steadied her breathing. The corridor has a mirrored service door, she said. I saw Celeste's reflection first. She stood beside the wheelchair while the therapist held an envelope. Celeste's father interrupted. No photograph, no recording, only a story. There may be footage, Nora said. A catering camera faces that corridor because staff deliveries enter there. The hotel manager looked uncomfortable. Roman caught it. Show me the feed. The catering system is managed separately. Then contact whoever manages it. Celeste spoke too quickly. This is absurd. We have hundreds of guests waiting. Roman turned toward her. Then 10 minutes will not matter. For the first time, Celeste looked frightened. Nora noticed something else. Dark dust marked the heel of Celeste's right shoe. The wheelchair footrests were polished clean. Nora pointed. Where did that come from? Celeste looked down. The corridor floor was being repaired near the laundry elevator, Nora said. There was black construction dust everywhere. Celeste tucked her foot beneath the chair. Too late. Roman stepped closer. Lift your dress. Her mouth opened. Excuse me? Show me both shoes. You cannot speak to me like this. I can when you ask me to build a marriage around your injury. Celeste's father moved between them. That is enough. Roman's security chief appeared before the older man came closer. No threats were needed. Celeste slowly lifted the hem of her gown. Black dust coated both heels. A murmur rolled through the ballroom. Celeste forced a laugh. My assistant moved the shoes earlier. While you were wearing them? Nora asked. Celeste's eyes flashed. Roman looked at the hotel manager. Lock the catering footage before anyone deletes it. The manager reached for his phone. Celeste rose halfway from the wheelchair. Only halfway, but everyone saw it. Her hands were not braced against the armrests. Her legs supported her naturally before she caught herself and dropped back into the seat. The silence was absolute. Roman's face went cold. Nora looked at the ring still trapped on her finger. The mistake no longer felt accidental. Someone had cut the lights because Celeste's lie was close to exposure. And whoever had done it now knew Nora was the witness Roman had chosen to believe. Across the ballroom, Celeste's assistant quietly slipped through the service door. Nora saw him leave and Roman followed her gaze. Neither spoke, but both understood the evidence was already in immediate danger. Roman moved first, but not toward the service door. Marco, he said to his security chief. Follow the assistant. Do not touch him. I want to know where he goes and whom he calls. Marco nodded and disappeared into the corridor. Celeste stared at Roman. You are sending men after my staff because a waitress noticed dust on my shoes? Because your assistant left the moment I ordered the footage secured. That proves nothing. No, Roman said. But it gives me a reason to keep asking. The guests remained frozen. Nora had served many of them before, yet they barely remembered her name. Now they watched as if standing beside Roman were a crime. The ring still would not come off. A hotel nurse brought ice, but Nora's finger had swollen around the band. Roman dismissed the cameras and ordered the ballroom cleared. Celeste objected. You cannot send everyone away. This is our engagement. Roman looked at her wheelchair. Not until I know what I was actually agreeing to. Her face tightened. You promised you would not abandon me because of what happened. Nora saw the words strike him. Roman's expression did not change, but his shoulders became rigid. Celeste had found the exact wound she knew how to press. The guests left slowly. Several glanced at Nora with open resentment, as though she had ruined a beautiful love story instead of exposing a possible lie. When the doors finally closed, only Roman, Celeste, her father, Nora, and the hotel manager remained. Roman turned to Nora. Tell me everything from the beginning. Nora described carrying empty glasses through the service corridor. She had heard Celeste laughing before seeing her reflection. The therapist stood near the elevator holding a thick envelope. Celeste rose from the wheelchair without assistance, walked 6 steps, and complained that pretending to need help was becoming exhausting. Celeste interrupted. "That is fiction." Nora continued. "You said, once Roman signs the trust papers, I can stop performing." Roman's eyes shifted toward his bride. "What trust papers?" Celeste's father answered. "Routine marital protections." "Prepared by whom?" "Our attorneys." "I have not reviewed them." "You were meant to receive them tonight." Roman's voice cooled. After the ring was placed, the hotel manager returned with a tablet. "The catering footage was accessed 3 minutes ago," he said. "Most of the corridor file was deleted." Celeste folded her arms. "Convenient. But the system stores low-resolution previews on a separate server." He opened the remaining clip. The image was grainy and silent. A woman in Celeste's silver gown stood beside an empty wheelchair. Her face was turned away, but she took several clear steps toward the elevator. Roman watched the clip twice. Celeste's father moved closer. "That could be anyone wearing a similar dress." Roman paused the image on the woman's wrist. A sapphire bracelet gleamed beneath the service light. He looked at Celeste. She was wearing the matching bracelet. "I can explain. I am listening. My recovery improved last month," she said. "I wanted to surprise you after the wedding." Nora stared at her. "By pretending to remain paralyzed?" Celeste's eyes sharpened. "You do not understand our relationship." "Then explain it," Roman said. Celeste looked at him with sudden tears. "You stayed because you believed the accident was your fault. I was afraid that if you knew I could walk, you would stop feeling responsible for me." The truth settled over the room. Roman did not look angry. He looked tired. Nora understood then that this engagement had never been built on love alone. Celeste had taken his guilt and shaped it into a promise. "My convoy forced your car from the road," Roman said. "I paid for every specialist because I owed you that. And I needed you. You needed me to believe you were helpless." Celeste reached for his hand, but he stepped back. Her father accused Nora of manipulating the footage. Roman ignored him and called for an independent medical evaluation. Celeste refused. "I will not be examined like a criminal." "Then the engagement is suspended." Her face went white. Nora finally managed to slide the ring over her swollen knuckle. She placed it on the table between them. "This belongs to her." Roman looked at the diamond, then at Nora. "No," he said. "It belonged to the truth I thought she gave me." Before Nora could respond, Marco returned. "Her assistant never left the hotel," he said. "He went to the bridal suite and opened the safe." "What was inside?" Roman asked. Marco placed a sealed folder on the table. Across the front were the words, "Valenti Family Trust. Transfer of control upon marriage." Roman opened it in complete silence. The final page already carried his forged signature. Roman read the forged signature without moving. The ballroom had emptied, but the silence felt heavier than the crowd. Celeste's father recovered first. "This proves nothing. Engagement agreements are prepared in advance." "With my signature?" Roman asked. "A clerical error." Nora studied the final page. The imitation was nearly perfect, but one detail stood out. Roman signed with a sharp upward stroke beneath the last letter of his surname. The forged version curved downward. She had noticed the difference on donation receipts she carried between the ballroom and hotel office. "That isn't how he signs," she said. Celeste's father turned toward her. "You serve champagne. Since when are you an expert on signatures?" "Since I delivered 12 documents bearing his real one tonight." Roman placed a donor card beside the agreement. The difference was small but clear. Marco photographed both. Celeste's voice hardened. "You are allowing a waitress to investigate my family?" Roman closed the folder. "I am allowing the only person who noticed the truth to speak." The words changed the room. Roman was not defending Nora because she was helpless. He was trusting her because she had remained observant while everyone else was distracted by wealth and reputation. Celeste gripped the wheelchair's armrests. You owe me more than this. Roman's expression became unreadable. I paid every medical bill. I rebuilt the road where your accident happened. I gave your family contracts when your company was failing. You promised marriage. I promised I would not abandon you while you recovered. And now that I can walk, I become inconvenient? No, Roman said quietly. Now that I know you hid your recovery to control me, the promise means something different. Celeste's father stepped forward. You should think carefully before humiliating my daughter. Roman met his stare. I am thinking more clearly than I have in 2 years. Celeste looked toward Nora. This is because of her. No, Nora replied. This is because you believed his guilt belonged to you. Roman turned to Marco. Escort them to the bridal suite. They may collect personal belongings, but nothing leaves without inspection. Celeste rose instinctively. This time she stood fully. No one gasped. The shock had passed. What remained was certainty. She realized too late what she had done and lowered herself into the chair. Roman did not look triumphant. He looked wounded. After Celeste and her father were escorted away, Nora reached for her serving tray. Roman frowned. What are you doing? My shift is not finished. You exposed an attempted transfer of my family trust. And table 7 still has untouched glasses. A tired laugh escaped him. You are either disciplined or unreasonable. I need this job. You still have it. That is easy for you to say. By morning, half the staff will believe I ruined your engagement to get close to you. What would make that less damaging? The question surprised her. Do not promote me. Do not give me money. And do not announce that I am under your protection. Why? Because then every honest thing I said tonight will look purchased. Roman considered her answer. Then what should I say? The truth. I was working. I noticed something. You checked it. That sounds simple. Powerful people make simple things complicated. His eyes returned to her. You are not afraid of me. I am. The honesty surprised him. But fear does not make you correct, Nora added. Marco returned and reported that Celeste's assistant had admitted cutting the lights to erase the corridor footage. Celeste had recovered months earlier, and her father intended to gain temporary control of the Valenti Trust after the marriage. Roman ordered every statement documented and sent to his attorneys. No threats, only evidence. For Nora, that restraint revealed more strength than violence ever could. You expected something else? He asked. I expected the man everyone whispers about. And what did you find? A man who nearly married the wrong woman because he mistook guilt for loyalty. His gaze dropped to the ring on the table. And the woman I placed it on by mistake? She is going back to work. Roman picked up the ring before she could leave. I need someone near me tomorrow who notices what everyone else ignores. You need an investigator. I need you. Nora's heart shifted unexpectedly. Before she could answer, the hotel manager entered with 2 security guards. We found Celeste's missing sapphire bracelet, he said. He opened an evidence bag. Where? Roman asked. The manager looked at Nora. In Miss Blake's staff locker. Employees gathered behind him, already whispering. Nora expected Roman to step away. Instead, he set the family ring down and said calmly, No one leaves. Someone has just made their second mistake tonight. The hotel manager placed the evidence bag on the nearest table. Inside, Celeste's sapphire bracelet glittered beneath the ballroom lights. Nora stared at it. I have never touched that. One guard shifted uneasily. Your locker was opened with your key. That is impossible. My key has been in my apron all evening. She reached into the pocket. It was empty. A murmur moved through the employees. Roman looked at Nora, not the bracelet. When did you last use it? Before the ceremony. I changed at 6. Who saw you? 3 servers and the wardrobe supervisor. The manager cleared his throat. Sir, the bracelet was reported missing an hour ago. Miss Blake entered the bridal suite. I delivered water once, Nora said. Celeste's assistant was inside. Roman turned toward Marco. Bring him back. The assistant appeared minutes later, pale and sweating. He denied entering the staff corridor, taking Nora's key, or knowing how the bracelet reached her locker. Nora watched him rubbing his right thumb. Black grease marked the nail. The lockers had stiff brass hinges coated with graphite lubricant. "You opened it yourself," Nora said. His hand stopped. "You have graphite on your thumb." He shoved both hands into his pockets. Roman's gaze dropped. "Take them out." He obeyed. The stain was obvious. "That proves he touched a locker," Celeste called from the entrance. Everyone turned. She stood without the wheelchair, one hand gripping the doorframe while her father remained behind her. Humiliation had hardened into something sharper. "It does not prove he planted anything," she continued. "Nora could have stolen the bracelet." Roman's voice cooled. "You were told to remain upstairs. I refuse to hide while a servant destroys my name." Nora faced her. "You planted it because the forged trust papers failed." Celeste smiled. "You think wearing his ring for 30 seconds made you important?" "No. Telling him the truth did." The answer silenced several whispers. Celeste stepped farther inside. "You have no proof." Nora looked at the evidence bag and noticed something beneath the clasp. A thin strand of ivory silk. Her uniform was black. Celeste's gown was ivory. "Open the bag," Nora said. The manager hesitated. Roman nodded. Using gloves, he removed the bracelet and held up the thread. Celeste glanced at her dress. A small pull marked the fabric near her waist. Her father spoke quickly. "The bracelet belonged to her. Of course her fibers are on it." "Not beneath a closed clasp," Nora replied. "The thread was trapped when someone fastened it around something." She looked toward the assistant. "What did you wrap it around?" He remained silent. Marco searched his jacket and found a folded white napkin. Nora studied the bracelet. "The clasp is bent." The hotel jeweler examined it. "It was forced shut recently," he said. "Probably around fabric to stop it rattling." Roman looked at Celeste's gown. "You carried it inside your dress." Her face changed. "Only slightly." "Enough," Nora continued. "You hid it in the lining, then gave it to your assistant during the blackout. He used my stolen key to plant it." The assistant looked toward Celeste. That glance betrayed both of them. Roman turned to the manager. "Check the staff corridor previews." Minutes later, footage appeared on the ballroom screen. It showed the assistant entering during the outage. His face was partly hidden, but ivory fabric was visible in his hand before he disappeared near Nora's locker. The room fell silent. Celeste's father stepped away from his daughter. Not from shame, from self-preservation. "I knew nothing about this," he said. Celeste stared at him. Roman watched their alliance collapse. "You lied about your recovery," he said. "You forged my signature, arranged the blackout, and framed the woman who exposed you." Celeste's voice broke. "Because you were leaving me. I was learning the truth. You would have chosen her." Roman looked toward Nora. "I had not chosen anyone. The honesty mattered," Roman continued. "But she gave me something you stopped giving me." Celeste laughed bitterly. "Love. Choice." Her expression hardened. "You think she wants you for yourself? She works for tips." Nora stepped forward. "That is why I know the difference between kindness and ownership. People with money often confuse the two." Roman's eyes met hers. Then Marco handed the assistant a statement form. The young man read it, looked at Celeste and said, "She paid me to cut the lights and plant the bracelet. Her father prepared the trust documents." Celeste closed her eyes. There was no shouting. The evidence had done what anger could not. Roman ordered every recording preserved and allowed Celeste to leave under supervision. As she passed Nora, she whispered, "He will never see you as his equal." Nora answered, "Then he will never have me." Roman heard. After the ballroom emptied, he approached the table and picked up the family ring. "I owe you an apology. For putting this on the wrong woman? For nearly refusing to see what was in front of me." Nora looked at the ring. "And what do you see now?" Roman held her gaze. The only person in this room who never asked me for anything. The only one who risked everything for the truth. He did not offer her the ring. He closed his hand around it. That restraint made her trust him more than any proposal could have. The engagement gala ended before midnight, but the consequences followed Roman and Nora for months. Celeste's assistant signed a full statement. Her father's attorneys surrendered the forged trust documents. Celeste was charged with fraud, evidence tampering, and conspiracy to frame an employee. Roman refused every request for a settlement. He did not seek revenge. He simply stopped protecting the lie. Nora returned to work the next evening. The staff expected her to arrive beside Roman, wearing a new dress or carrying some sign that her life had changed. Instead, she tied on the same black apron, checked the reservations, and corrected a shipment count before dinner service. The hotel manager approached carefully. "Mr. Valenti offered you the position of events director." "I declined." The manager blinked. "That salary is 5 times what you earn here." "I know." "Then why?" "Because I do not want anyone wondering whether I earned it." From the mezzanine above, Roman heard her answer. He had come to speak with the board, but he remained there long enough to watch Nora calm an angry guest, reorganize a delayed dinner, and give her own meal to a dishwasher who had missed his break. She did not need his power to become important. She had already been important. He had simply failed to notice. That evening, Roman waited until her shift ended. Nora found him near the service entrance without guards, his coat buttoned against the rain. "You are standing where the staff smoke," she said. "I have survived worse." "Have you?" Repeatedly. She smiled despite herself. Roman held out an envelope. Nora did not take it. "If that is another job offer, the answer is still no." "It is not." Inside was a written apology from the Valenti Hotel Group, compensation for the public accusation, and a statement clearing her name. The payment section was blank. "You choose the amount," Roman said. "I choose 0. "Nora, you said you wanted to apologize. Apologies should not require a price." He accepted the paper back without argument. That was the first reason she agreed to coffee. The second came 3 weeks later, when Roman attended a staff meeting without announcing himself. He listened as servers complained about unpaid training hours and the kitchen requested safer equipment. He did not promise miracles. He corrected the payroll policy, approved the equipment, and returned the following month to ask what had improved. Nora noticed. Their coffee became dinner. Dinner became walks after her shifts. When Roman spoke about the guilt that had kept him beside Celeste, and Nora admitted how often poverty made kindness feel suspicious. He never asked her to enter his world. He showed her who he was when the world was not watching. Roman visited his mother's grave without security. He funded a rehabilitation center for accident victims but refused to place his name on it. He apologized to employees he had ignored for years. Nora challenged him whenever apology became performance. He listened whenever her fear became caution rather than rejection. 6 months after the failed engagement, Nora became the hotel's operations manager. Not because Roman appointed her. She applied, completed 3 interviews, and won the role after presenting a plan that reduced staff turnover and increased event revenue. Roman learned about it from the board. "You applied without telling me," he said when he found her reviewing schedules. "You would have worried they were unfair." "They might have been. They were not." He looked proud. She pretended not to notice. That winter, the hotel hosted another engagement gala. Nora supervised the event from the same ballroom where Roman had placed the family ring on her finger by mistake. When the final guests departed, she found him beneath the floral arch. The lights remained bright. There was no wheelchair, no frightened bride, and no audience waiting for a spectacle. Roman held a velvet box. Nora stopped several feet away. "That ring has caused enough trouble. This is not the same ring." He opened the box. Inside rested a diamond set in platinum. Elegant, but nothing like the heavy Valenti heirloom. "The family ring belonged to obligation," Roman said. "I wanted one that belonged only to a choice." Nora's heartbeat changed. He did not reach for her hand. He did not kneel until she gave him a nod. Then Roman lowered himself beneath the arch where their lives had collided. The first time, I placed a ring on the wrong woman because I could not see clearly in the dark, he said. This time, the room is bright. I know exactly who you are, and I am asking. Nora's eyes filled. Roman continued, will you marry me because you choose me, not because you need protection, money, or a powerful name? She looked at the man who had once mistaken guilt for love. Now he waited without pressure, prepared to accept whatever answer she gave. Nora extended her hand. Yes. Roman slid the ring onto her finger. Fit perfectly. Months later, they married in a small ceremony attended by hotel staff, family, and the people who had stood beside Nora when she was still invisible to the guests. There was no blackout, no accusation, no mistake. When Roman took her hand, he whispered, the right woman. Nora smiled. The right choice. And this time, everyone watching understood why.